Hello friends and welcome to the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today we're going to be talking about the month of Ewoks. Recently, the event information has been posted on the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes forums, and they have told us quite a bit about what is coming and what is to come, and there are a few major highlights from this. The first is the Endor Escalation Marquee events. There are two of them currently. Now, these Marquee events are ways to earn shards and credits and just really get to understand the feel of how these new characters work. In the past, we've seen Fulcrum, Gar-Saxon, Imperial Super Commando, the Gar-Saxon Starfighter, Krennic, and Darth Nihilus, as well as Death Trooper, and both of the characters, Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper, introduced through these types of events. What we know from these events are there will be 4 tiers where you will be able to unlock different characters, or at least one specific character per event, which is usually the case. I don't know how that's going to work with 3 Ewoks coming out and only 2 Marquee events. Maybe they're going to do something different. They have changed how they've done the Marquee events, with it seems like every single event varying slightly from the events previous. Now, but there will be 4 tiers in each of these events, so 8 chances to earn shards for the different characters, as well as credits to level them up or to star them up. Each tier will highlight an ability of one of those characters, so you will get a chance to kind of play around with them, see how they work, see how they engage with other teams, so on and so forth. I'm looking forward to it. Now, we don't have specific dates for these events yet, and I'll talk about that later in the video. But next up on the list is the Assault Battles Forest Moon. Now, there are actually 3 of these. Now, in these Forest Moon Assault Battles, you will take Empire teams to go up against different Ewok teams of varying difficulties and degrees to unlock more Ewok shards and a number of other, gear and credits and ally points and all that stuff. Now, what's interesting is we've never had 3 of the exact same assault battles in a single month. We've had like 1, maybe 2, but never 3, and this is kind of cool, to be honest. I know that a lot of people don't like Ewoks, and this is a great way to be able to farm the current Ewoks that we have, and maybe the Ewoks that they're going to give us. I think this could be a time when we are able to unlock some of the new Ewok characters, which does lead me back to the Endor Escalation and not having a date. With the Assault Battle Forest Moon starting, the first one starting on July 15th, if they do add these new Ewoks into this assault battle as a reward, or shards for these new Ewoks into this assault battle as a reward, then it's likely that the very first Endor Escalation that we're going to get is probably going to be sometime in the next couple of days, probably before July 15th. Now, whether that's the case or not, I'm not entirely sure. I think it would make sense because right now they do have all Ewok shards available for players to be able to unlock. Now, I think what's going to happen, they're going to have, probably in the bonus tier of the assault battle, the first time you play it or the first time you replay it, an opportunity for you to get those new shards, get shards for those new characters. Not entirely sure. We will have to wait to kind of see what happens, but then I think what we'll see is in the second Assault Battles Forest Moon, you will get the same opportunity. I think the second escalation of the Marquee event will come shortly before the Assault Battles Forest Moon Flash event, or the Ewok Flash event, which will begin on the 22nd. Now, if you look at the events stacked up from the next couple of days, I think what we're going to find out in the next couple of days is the first Marquee event will probably be taking place on Thursday, the 13th of July, or the first Marquee event could launch on Tuesday the 11th, and that would give us 4 days to prepare for the assault battle. I do think that we're going to get the final assault battle, the final Marquee event, before the 29th. I think we'll probably be getting it somewhere either between the 20th and the 24th or somewhere between the 16th and the 20th. Now, the reason I say that is because on the 29th, we have Ground War, the Assault Battle Ground War, and that will take place on the 29th, running through the 30th, and requires Ewoks. And so what better way to culminate this month of Murder Bears than to have an event that requires you to use Ewoks. Now, finally, what I want to talk about is the flash events that take place on the 22nd, 25th, and 28th of this month. Now, if you remember back with the first Tatooine, Trouble on Tatooine flash event that we had, there was a great opportunity to not only farm shards, but also, if you could beat the bonus tier, farm Zetas. So that was kind of sweet. I say farm Zetas. You got one Zeta, but that's still a Zeta, right? I'm not going to scoff at a free Zeta. But looking at what I can see now, the first time you were able to beat Tier 2, Tier 3, you were able to get quite a great deal of Jawa shards for the Trouble on Tatooine event. Now, each subsequent time that you got to do that, it was a smaller amount of shards. But what I'm thinking is if the first time we go through this event, we are able to get these Ewok shards, then we could potentially raise the character levels up quite a bit, or at least the star levels up quite a bit. Now, whether or not that's the case, I don't know. I think that we'll probably see will be a focus on one Ewok per event, and then you'll be able to level that Ewok up. So if that's the case, you're not going to want to miss these flash events. You're not going to want to miss them no matter what. They're pretty sweet, and especially for free gear, it's really hard to beat that, right? Now, I know a lot of people are frustrated. The focus of July is the Ewoks, but it looks like EA and CG are really trying to appease the player base by providing opportunities for them to farm these characters pretty extensively. Now, I also think that we're going to get quite a bit of packs and bundles here in the next couple of weeks. If they've learned anything from the past, or from the frustration of the players in the past, what they'll do is give us a bundle that is $10 and not $20, and that way players can still get a few shards if they want to spend a smaller amount. It's harder to justify spending $20 on a character that you're not sure you're even going to play with, or like, for that matter. Of course, the whales are going to, but if you're not a whale, then by all means, don't do it. Don't spend the money. But I do think that they are being generous, right? But personally, I think that they're focused in the way that they have approached this Ewok thing is probably the best way that they could have handled it. Probably the best way they could have approached it. I would love to see them do more of this type of stuff, where they take a group of toons that no one really plays with and does an event like this. Let's face it, the Night Sisters, there's 3 of them that just suck. They were some of the original toons, and the other toons, the other characters in the game have grown substantially more powerful, so it's not smart to even farm 3 of them. Really, old Daka's the only one that you really want to farm. And even then, I don't use her all that much. I see her from time to time pop up in an arena, but not very often. But again, I think this is the best way that they could have approached it. We don't have any information, or we don't have a date for the new game mode or the Jedi Luke Hero Journey event. So I'm thinking that we'll see the Jedi Luke Hero's Journey event being a pretty big focus in August. And I think probably in September we'll see the new event launched. But what do you think about this month of Murder Bears, this month of Ewoks? Do you like it? Are you excited? I know so many of you don't want Ewoks, but have they appeased your sensibilities by throwing so many opportunities for you to farm Ewoks? Are you at least happy that they've done that? What you plan to do? I know there were a few people that said that they weren't going to farm Ewoks. Does this change that for you? Leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.